class reading something to take down notes and you're drinky because our study session is about to start. Side note, I don't know if you heard that girl Belly, yeah, the one that's going out with Jeremiah, yeah, the one with the tiny ring. It turns out she actually dated his brother first. Isn't that fucking crazy? Anyways, what chapter are we supposed to read? Yes, hello, my name is Jasmine. I talk about books and TV shows on the internet. Today, I'm going to be talking about The Summer I Turned Pretty episode 1 and 2 of season 3 and how they connect to the book. But I will be using my ebook version because I like to look up the words to make this easier for myself. I actually have already done a video kind of with this idea, but it was strictly from what I had seen in the trailer. It was kind of my predictions to how it would happen connecting to the book. Now, based on the first 2 episodes, which is what this video will be going into, I can actually give you the exact connections from the book to the TV show and also the things that have been made quite differently. I will put that video up here, and I also intend to do other videos like this one for future episodes. So like, subscribe, hang out, stick around. I am gonna try to go chronologically based on the TV show, just because I feel like that would be a little bit easier to understand. But because some things completely don't exist in one to the other, it will not be like 100%, but it will still be understandable. Now, without further ado, let's get into talking about season 3, episode 1 of The Summer I Turned Pretty last season. Starting off Red Finch, of course. In the TV show, the show opens with Belly's freshman year move-in day. In the books, we actually start with her at the end of freshman year during finals. Because in the TV show, it is Belly's junior year of college, whereas in the books, it is her freshman year of college, meaning she is 18 in the books as opposed to 20. The book actually starts with her in the middle of a 5-hour study session for finals with Taylor and Annika. And I quote, "It was 4 in the morning and I was studying for the last final of my freshman year at Finch University. I was camped out in my dorm library with my new best friend, Annika Johnson, and my old best friend, Taylor Jewell." Meaning her and Jeremiah's relationship in the books is a lot shorter than it is in the TV show. But we do get that move-in scene via flashback 16 chapters later, where she tells us that she'd never planned to go by Isabel. It kind of just happened when she moved into college. During her move-in day, she also doesn't have Stephen there. It's just her mom, and her dad, plus Jeremiah. In the book series, Stephen is a much more minor character. Like, he's barely around. The storyline of Stephen, aka meaning he has like little to no storylines, including there is no Taylor and Stephen in the book series, meaning that in season 3 there is no cheating. Well, in book 3 there is no cheating between Taylor and Stephen on Davis and Mia, because Davis and Mia don't exist in this version of the world. Very early into episode 1, we also find out that Belly messed up her knee, and that is why she's no longer plays volleyball. We don't really get an explanation as to why Belly no longer plays volleyball in the books. Granted, it's been a while since I read the first 2 specifically, but I don't even think Belly being like a volleyball player was that big of a storyline as opposed to how it was in the TV show. A couple more things that kind of just don't exist from book to TV show adaptation, because it has been last year's. Stephen has not graduated from college a semester early from Princeton, therefore he is not working for Adam. Conrad also has not graduated and is not having his like summer clinic job because, again, he is still in school. It is 2 years less in the book version as opposed to the TV show. We also don't get scenes of him and his therapist. Does he have one? We don't really know. This also makes Jeremiah not be a super senior because he would only be a sophomore during this time, so he does not need that extra semester. Therefore, he is also not $20,000 in debt. That being said, remember to check your emails, people. Very important, very important. Okay. Yes, so in the books and in the TV show, Annika and Belly were meant to be roommates the following semester. But one thing that is different is that Belly doesn't apply for studying abroad in Paris, meaning that the topic of the apartment doesn't come up when it has to do with Belly getting accepted into the Paris study abroad program, but it comes into topic when her and Jeremiah get engaged, and it's like, where will they be living in an apartment together? Now let's talk about Lacie Barone and Paris, because in the TV show it gets mentioned, it has already happened. She's gonna give Belly some insight into study abroad in Paris.
The best time there. There's this little bakery right by the dorms that I love. Oh yeah, what's it called?
Hey, let's go get a drink. Come on, let's go.
Here, her study abroad has not happened, but she does plan on going. At the party, her and Jeremiah get to talking, and what we get is Pulling me towards him, Jeremiah said, Lacie's going to study abroad in Paris this fall. To Lacie, he said, we're going backpacking in Europe next summer. Sipping her beer, she said, that's cool. Which countries? We're definitely going to France. Jeremiah said, Billy speaks really fluent French. I really don't, I told her, embarrassed. I just took it in high school. She actually does do in the show as well, and we see her reading The Hunger Games in French. And she makes a comment of like, oh, I know the book so well because I've read it so many times, so like, I'm not as confused. And honestly, that's so valid for her. I feel like if I read The Hunger Games, not in French, because I know no French at all, but if I read it in Spanish, I could probably understand what was happening most of the time. Because my reading skills in Spanish are very minimal. How I passed the AP Spanish test in high school is kind of still something I question. But I did it. Back to this. We've made it to the party, right? It is a big deal. This is where Belly finds out that she has been cheated on with Lacie Barone.
I'm Lacie Barone.
Her finding out in both instances include her overhearing in the bathroom. However, when she goes to confront Jeremiah, in the TV show, they take it outside and have that convo out there.
Did you hook up with Lacie Barone during spring break?
Billy.
Oh my God, Jer. Oh my God.
Billy, I can
Oh
explain.
my God. No, no, no. Get away from
Billy,
me.
please, let me explain.
In the book, they go up to his bedroom. We have Jeremiah must have seen something in my eyes because he followed me inside, up the stairs, into his bedroom. I shut the door behind me. That honestly really should have been a conversation they had in private, but it wasn't. So the argument they have really isn't that different, besides the fact that post-slap she doesn't like say F you to him, and the fact that she doesn't bring up that she's only ever been with one other person, that other person in question being his brother. Because Conrad and Belly don't sleep together in the books. Actually, Jeremiah and Belly don't sleep together in the books. And it's kind of a big deal to Belly, making the betrayal so much greater because she's like, I took this very seriously and you're out here just being a man whore, a cheating one at that. Actually, until he like says it, she fully admits. I cried even harder. I pictured them hooking up, making out. I didn't even consider sex. I was so stupid. Also, to what we know here, he only cheats on her once, as opposed to in the TV show, he does admit to cheating on her twice. On the topic of cheating, they are also not cheaters canonically in the book that we know of. They could have cheated, just not through Belly's point of view and not with each other because they're not a thing. While talking about Taylor here, Taylor's mom's entire storyline with the salon also does not exist in the books. Taylor's mom is present and she actually is like kind of a big part of Belly, her wedding process, specifically with Taylor, like her and Taylor, and by her I mean her mom, like Lucinda and Taylor really take Belly and kind of give her the full experience when it comes to planning her wedding, because Laura wants none of it. So let's go from one brother to another. The book does take place through Belly and Conrad's point of view. Now we're gonna go into a little bit of Conrad's. So, Agnes, which by the way, love her in the show. One of my favorite characters this season. Okay, the way she's described is actually different. She has short, dirty blonde hair that's wavy and cut to her chin in the book. But in the show, I feel like it's just perfect. Like that's such an Agnes. I don't know how to explain it. It just does. They have a chem class together. And a big difference here is that they're actually like hookup buddies. We spent a lot of our time studying. Sometimes we'd go get pancakes or burgers after. Sometimes we'd hook up in her room during a study break when her roommate wasn't around. But it was all centered around both of us being pre-med. It wasn't like I spent the night in her room or invited her to stay in mine. I didn't hang out with her and her friends or meet her parents, even though they lived nearby. So let's talk about Conrad and Agnes, because that scene that was in the trailer shook me to my core. It's in the books, chapter 32 if you'd like, but it takes place in the library as opposed to at a bar. And she asks, have you ever been in love? We get that whole combo of like, yes, on a scale from 1 to 10. No, you can't like put it on a scale. What was her name is then the question. I let out a short breath. Belly, I mean Isabel. Satisfied? Here, she does not know Belly, so I was fucking gagged when in the show she goes, your brother's girlfriend?
Have you just been, like, pining after her this whole time?
She was my girlfriend first.
Wait, she dumped you for him? Bitch!
Like, even Agnes was shook. There is a part of the conversation here that does not exist in this show. I'm so glad because I absolutely love the Agnes and Conrad dynamic in the show. You have one more question, I said. Are you in love with me? Like I said, the girl's really good at catching me off guard. I didn't know what to say because the answer was no. Her face fell. And then she tried to sound a beat as she said, so no, huh? Well, are you in love with me? I could be if I let myself. I think I could. Oh, I felt like a piece of shit. I really do like you, Agnes. I know, I can feel that's true. You're an honest guy, Conrad, but you don't let people in. It's impossible to get close to you. She tried to put her hair in a ponytail, but the front pieces kept falling because it was still so short. Then she released her hair and said, I think you still love the other girl, at least a little bit. Am I right? Clocked him on that still in love part. But yeah, here they definitely have something going on, probably a lot more serious and a lot more like emotionally connected in Agnes's mind. In the show, we do get mentions of her having had like once feelings for him, but not going anywhere. That happens later on in the series. I really am trying my best to go in chronological order. Is it going to be the greatest? No, but we're going to have a good time, okay? So obviously, the have you ever been in love question leads us into Christmas flashback, at least in the trailer.
What was her name?
Belly.
Let's talk about that Christmas flashback because some things are changed. Come on in, guys, make yourself at home, get cozy. Would you like some hot cocoa? Anyone? This is empty. Now, Belly Conrad's Christmas 2.0 question for the whole trip, I guess. Do you call them Belly Conrad or do you call them Bonrad? Because I refer to them as Belly Conrad. Granted, I'm not someone who likes once like a ship name is just character A and character B's names like put together. I'm like, where is the creativity? However, here, Belly Conrad sounds cuter than Bonrad. Anyways, let's read. It was the day after Christmas. My mother had gone on a week-long trip to Turkey, a trip she had postponed twice. Once when Susanna's cancer came out of remission, and then again after Susanna died. My father was with his girlfriend Linda's family in Washington, D.C. Stephen was on a ski trip with some friends from school. Jeremiah and Mr. Fisher were visiting relatives in New York. And me, I was home, watching A Christmas Story on TV for the third time. I was starting to feel like Kevin in Home Alone, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, and I was dancing around the living room to rocking around the tree feeling sorry for myself. My fall semester grades had been my whole family was gone. I was eating a frozen pizza alone, and when Steven saw me the first day back home, first thing out of his mouth was, wow, freshman 15, huh? I had punched him in the arm and he said he was kidding, but he really wasn't. I had gained 10 pounds in 4 months. I guess eating hot wings and ramen and Domino's pizza at 4 in the morning with the boys will do that to a girl. But so what? Freshman 15 was a rite of passage. I went to the downstairs bathroom, slapped my cheeks like Kevin does in the movie. So what? I yelled. I wasn't going to let it get me down. Suddenly, I had an idea. I ran upstairs, started throwing things into my bag. The novel my mom had bought me for Christmas, leggings, thick socks. Why would I be home alone when I could be my favorite place in the world? So she decides to go to Cousins, grabs Steven's car, and makes her way. There, she actually starts watching How the Grinch Stole Christmas before she falls asleep and is awoken when she hears a noise. That noise in question, Conrad. In the TV show, she is actually watching Home Alone, and that's how we get the Kevin reference of like, what would Kevin do? What would Kevin do? Because here the Home Alone connections are a little bit different. And then in the show, it is Jeremiah, his dad, plus Conrad, who are on the ski trip as opposed to Steven. Steven's just hanging out with friends. And then in the TV show, Laurel is at a writer's retreat as opposed to her trip in Turkey. Laurel and John, also different storyline there. Like way bigger of a storyline, like no hookup here. At least that we know of. Like maybe it happens behind Belly's back, but I highly doubt it. The show also is kind of giving like a, is there potential for a Laurel and John get together? Ray get together? I don't know. I kind of see it. It's one of those things where you watch enough shows, you read enough books, you see enough movies, that you kind of begin to pick up on pieces. You're like, I know where this is going because that's where it's gone in every other media I've consumed. Also, like Laurel and Professor now would have turned around. There's also no Steven car crash. Therefore, her parents aren't awoken to missing calls from Belly being like, hey, my brother was in a car crash while you two were getting it on. I do think that the Steven car crash does add kind of like an interesting layer to the Jeremiah and Belly relationship because they have that whole moment of like, life is too short. You should be with the person you love because you never know when a car is gonna come out and just ram into you. And because there is no car crash and Conrad is not working at the clinic, the Dr. Namazi storyline where he asks her for like a connection to help Steven also does not exist. So we never get the Belly texting Conrad and saying like, oh, they spent Christmas together. Because again, the Christmas reveal happens a little bit different here. Conrad also does not get fired for mislabeling stuff because he was never hired to begin with. Now the proposal. I was cringe when reading it, and I think I disliked it even more in the show. Let's get into it. In the book, Jer proposes in her bedroom as opposed to outside the hospital without a ring while her brother's in a coma. Like I said, it got worse. So she calls Jeremiah, he comes over, they sit in her bed as they have this conversation. I said, how would I know you wouldn't do it again? How would I be able to trust you? He got up. For a second, I thought he was leaving. My heart nearly stopped. But then he got on one knee, right in front of me. Very softly, he said, you could marry me. At first, I wasn't sure I heard him right, but then he said it again, this time louder. Marry me. He reached into his jean pocket and pulled out a ring, a silver ring with a little diamond in the center. This would be for starters until I could afford to pay for a ring myself with my money. I guess it's better than him proposing without a ring, not even on one knee. What the fuck? Belly, stand up, please, I beg. Because what do you mean the TV show? He brings it up. Oh my god, I was fucking jaw dropped when this happened. Because he proposes. He doesn't even get to finish proposing. He's like, I have an idea. He's like, Belly. She's like, yes. Yes, I know what you're asking. Girl, calm the fuck down. First off. Second of all, let him ask a question. It's already bad enough. There's no ring and he's standing up on both legs. At least let him ask the fucking question. No, should have not. And that's why I'm saying that it is so much worse. I actually feel kind of bad for the, like, jelly bears. No, that's not their name. Bellagers? Is it? Team Jellyfish, as Taylor would say. Here's the thing. I have a favorite kind of proposal, okay? But, like, hear me out. I love a proposal where, like, by the end of it, the girl's on her knees too. Like, she, like, collapses mid-proposal. Like, if I get proposed to one day and I'm not on the floor by the end of it, he's not the one. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, back to Jeremiah and Belly. I couldn't feel my body. He was still talking and I couldn't hear him. All I could do was stare at the ring in his hand. I love you so much. These past couple of days have been hell without you. He took a breath. I'm so sorry for hurting you, Bells. What I did, it was unforgivable. I know that I hurt us, that I'm gonna have to work really hard to get you to trust me again. I'll do whatever it takes if you let me. Would you be willing to let me try? I don't know, I whispered. He swallowed. His Adam's apple bobbed up and down. Just so hard, I swear to you. We'll get an apartment off campus. We fix it up real nice. I'll do the laundry. I'll learn how to cook stuff other than ramen and cereal. On the topic of ramen and cereal, when this also happens later, I think it's episode 4, when Jeremiah's like, oh, all Belly eats is shin ramen, so I think I'll be fine. When talking to his dad, and even his dad's like, you know it's bad when even Adam Fisher is judging you, okay? And Adam Fisher was judging. That is where episode 2 ends. So I guess this is where this is gonna end. And I will let you know right now that the next video of these will come next Saturday, and it will include episodes 3, 4, and 5, where I will talk about similarities between the book, the TV show, and then other random little things that may pop into my brain. But for now, that is all for me. Bye. Have a great day. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time. Bye.